This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 1. I will stand upon my watch, and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, answered me and said, Write the vision, and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. First off, before I get started, I want to thank Yahawah Bahasham, Yahawashi, for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. I want to give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakakadash. I want to give double honor to the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, who taught me this truth. Salutation, brothers and sisters that are out there listening and learning, fighting this good fight of faith. And salutation, my fellow brethren that are pushing this word in all truth and sincerity. To you all, I want to say shalom. And Lord's will, this lesson will be edifying to the elect. So this lesson will be pretty much on the coming woes and destruction, and due to these banks collapsing and these countries leaving, ditching the dollar. So I have a article, couple articles and a couple videos that I want to play, and pretty much just showing that these are the times that we're coming in. Excuse me. When all out hell is about to break loose, and the people are not, most people are not paying attention to what's going on, man. They're too busy worried about spring break and folly, while behind the scenes, all these major things are happening, and they're gearing the people up to get, towards that MO to the TB, man. That rice device, man. They're purposely collapsing the dollar and all these systems so they can have this great reset and have everybody, be moved over to these CBDCs, man. But before all that happens, they have to cause mass chaos in order, problem, reaction, solution. So they, are bringing in the problem, which is going to be the U.S. no longer being a superpower, because once, these different, since a lot of these different nations are leaving the petrodollar, the American fiat currency is no longer backed by gold as it used to be. Then it was, it was traded, and it was the main source of trade with oil. That's how they pretty much cornered, the market in that, and for lack of a better word, But now that these other countries, are leaving that and choosing to deal in oil with other countries, and in particular with China's currency, I believe it's called the yuan. It leaves the money, the American dollar, basically toilet paper, man. It turns it into toilet paper. It's absolutely useless. So it's only, and once this happens, it's going to make the inflation go through the roof, man. Hyperinflation, is already bad, but it's gonna become extremely bad. So let's start off with let me see. Let's start off with this video first, just to kind of back up what I've, learning and what I've been reading about and watching and whatnot, because they can explain it better, because I'm not a really well versed in financial economy, lingo and whatnot. But as the scriptures say, we are watching, and it says that, the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Right? So this is an example of it speaking and not lying, of the times that we're coming into. So I don't own any rights to this. This is from Redacted. This is purely for educational purposes. So without further ado, let's play this video.
We're going to answer the question, is the U.S. losing its hegemony for the dollar and its ability to regulate global markets?
So before we continue on, because this is all about edification, right? And about teaching and learning. So she said hegemony, right? So this is what hegemony means, monetary hegemony from Google. Monetary hegemony is an economic and political concept in which a single state has decisive influence over the functions of the international monetary system. So the hegemony that the U.S. had was over with the oil. You know, the other countries were dealing, anytime they were dealing, from my understanding, they were dealing, trading oil, the U.S. dollar was being used. So it made the value of the dollar, you know, very high because other countries were still using it. But now that they're leaving the U.S. dollar, and then it's not backed by anything, as they're gonna say in the video, it's literally toilet paper. It's nothing. So all you simple ass Jakes, you know, when I say Jake, I mean the children of Jacob, you Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, all you simple asses that are, you know, all you care about is, you know, blue faces, blue notes, doing a money phone, you know, putting dollar bills up your arm like an idiot, you know, the Floyd Mayweathers that got a goddamn trunk full of $1 million fiat dollars. Once this happens, you're just gonna have a lot of toilet paper with an ugly Edomite on it to wipe your ass with, man, or burn it for a fire, man, because it's not gonna be worth a goddamn. You know, you jakes that are putting money in the walls and all that bullshit, shoebox money, all that, man. It's gonna be useless, man. So it continue on. It says a monetary hegemon would need accessibility to international credits, foreign exchange markets, right? So this is what hegemony means. So as she was saying, just so we have understanding. So let's continue on.
We're going to answer the question, is the U.S. losing its hegemony for the dollar and its ability to regulate global markets? It absolutely feels that way, and there are a lot of data points to support that, and we're going to go over them. Earlier in March, when President Putin visited China, no, other way around. President Xi went to Russia. I'm sorry. President Putin said that Russia would start using the Chinese yuan for international payments. Now, Saudi Arabia is in talks to do the same thing as well, and also work with Iran to create an economic alliance. This would cut the US dollar out of major global markets and sort of lay naked the dollar as it stands, because the dollar is backed by a belief system and literally nothing else. No gold, no hard assets, a whole lot of debt. Former Assistant Treasury Secretary Monica Crawley was on Fox News this weekend, and she talked about how that fall from grace will in fact be very painful for all of us that are used to a dollar-backed global system.
Look, since the end of World War II, the dollar has been the safe place to go, and it's been backed up by a couple of things. It originally was backed up by gold, but President Nixon took us off the gold standard, so there's no hard asset backing up the dollar anymore for the last 50 years. But also it's been backed up by the strength and economic power of the United States and the fact that oil has always been traded in dollars. If that were to end, that would mean the end of the U.S. dollar. Look, there's a perfect storm happening right now, Will. The world's reserve currency being that, having that status has been a real privilege, but we've abused the privilege by wholly reckless monetary and fiscal policies over many years, certainly over the last couple of years, which has really devalued the dollar. On top of that, now you do have this perfect storm of Biden's weakness, his war on American domestic energy production, the Ukraine war, and as you point out, because of all of these things, we've got America's enemies led by China forming a new economic bloc. And all it would take at this point now, because we're at this pivotal moment, Will, is for Saudi Arabia, who has indicated that they're open to this, to say, you know what, we're going to be open to considering other currencies to trade in oil. If that were to happen, there would be a complete implosion of the global economic system, but certainly the American economic system. And if that were to happen, you'd be looking at sky-high inflation, just raging Weimar Republic kind of inflation. If you think inflation is bad now, just wait. But more importantly, we would lose our economic dominance and we would lose our superpower status.
There you go. You know, and this is what's happening right before our very eyes, man. The vision is speaking, man. You know, and as the dollar continues to go down, and this system continues to collapse, you know, it's going to cause for massive amounts of panic, man. So, matter of fact, let's get because this is what's coming. This is what it's all coming down to. Let's get Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he, the elect, shall be saved out of it, the elect of the nation of Israel, right? But it's going to be a time of trouble, because once all these things start happening and the dollar completely collapses and the people can't use their money, because I've been watching a lot of different financial videos and everything, and a lot of financial experts are telling, you know, the listeners to move their money, you know, their assets and everything away from the dollar before it crashes into something like gold or something tangible, something actually backed, or real estate or whatnot, something that actually has value, and not just have it just sitting in the bank as just, you know, fiat currency. Because once it crashes, it's literally going to be like how back in the Great Depression, when they had, you know, barrels of money, you know, just to buy a loaf of bread, man. Matter of fact, let's get that. How's it go? Salaki, I'm trying to remember how it's worded. Salaki, I'm trying to remember how it's worded. Salaki, if it comes back to me, I'll pull it up. But let's read. Let me read a little bit of this. I don't want to make this lesson too long. So this is from RT, April 1st. It was published April 1st, 2023. The hopeful year that all these prophecies shall be fulfilled. And here we are. It's just April, and all these different countries are leaving the dollar, man. And as the lady has said, in particular, Saudi Arabia, who has deals in oil, you know, to supply to Babylon, right? So I looked up where does U.S. oil come from. So it says as of 2023 January, so the top 5 sources of U.S. crude oil imports for January are Canada is the main one, Mexico, which I heard Mexico is also looking to go to the over there with the BRICS nations and join in with that and trade in you know, the yuan and whatnot with the, you know, Chinese currency. Saudi Arabia, right? And if my memory serves me correctly, when when Biden went over there, they basically laughed at him, man. He pretty much went over there to beg for them to produce more oil for him, and they basically said nah, and just laughed at him, you know. And that just shows you that these Edomites, man, their pride have deceived them, man, and they're not looked at as the glory of kingdoms or whatnot anymore. The city, you know, where of the land of milk and honey, man. They're not looked at that. The skirt is being lifted up, man, on this whore, you know. Iraq and Nigeria, you know. I just wanted to show a little bit of that. So let's read this. Dr. Doom makes bold claim about U.S. Most of the country's banks are technically near insolvency, famed economist Nouriel Roubini says. So just, you know, like I said, it's all about edification. So insolvency means the state of being insolvent, inability to pay one's debts, right? And as the scriptures say, woe unto them that have laded themselves with thick clay, going into that debt, man, that heavy debts, man. And that's exactly what Babylon is under, man. And that's why, another reason why they need this, you know, great reset, man. They owe every damn body, man. And the similar words are bankruptcy, liquidation, failure, collapse, ruin. Yeah, you get the point. Financial ruin, you know. So let's get back. Excuse me. Renowned economist who predicted the global financial crisis of 2008, has issued a grim assessment of U.S. banking sector status. In an opinion piece for Project Syndicate, Roubini, dubbed Dr. Doom by Wall Street for his tendency towards bleak predictions, claimed that most U.S. banks are technically near insolvency, with hundreds already fully insolvent. The comments came weeks after the U.S. banking sector was hit by a wave of failures after the collapses of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank. The turmoil spread to Europe, engulfing Switzerland's second largest lender, Credit Suisse, which was forced to merge with rival investment bank UBS. According to the analysts, the pandemic-related economic decline aggravated the underlying vulnerabilities in the country's financial system, leaving many financial institutions in shaky positions. He stressed that the current situation was induced by such factors as the high level of debt held by businesses and households, and well as overvaluation of assets such as stocks and real estate. Roubini added that hawkish policies pursued by the U.S. Federal Reserve inevitably increase pressure on lenders' profitability by squeezing the difference between the interest they reap on loans and the interest they shell out on deposits. Let's see. Over the past years, the Fed has raised the benchmark interest rate to a range of 4.75% to 5%, the highest since 2006, from near zero, raising the risk of asset depreciation on the balance sheets of many financial institutions, man. So, I mean, hey, you see it's everything is collapsing, man. Everything is collapsing. Let's get this video real quick, because I want to play this from the brother Amawan Gabar, the elder, GMS Awakening 144, and this is a clip that he played in the beginning that very informative, and you know, lets us know what times we're coming into. So without further ado, let's play this.
So someone was very upset in one of my comments when I said it doesn't matter, you won't be able to fight back. Let me explain to you exactly what I meant. I'm sure everyone saw the president of Kenya, who made a warning to everyone, an announcement, and said that if you hold dollars, you probably want to get rid of them as fast as possible, because in a few weeks everything's going to change. So let me explain. Here's what happens when the Saudis and OPEC dump the dollar as the international reserve currency for petroleum. Day one, the markets will immediately start to tank. Inflation within a week, maybe two, will start to rise by 50 to 70%. Everyday items that you could walk in the grocery store and grab will now be so expensive you're barely walking out with two or three things. The dollar at that point will be worthless, because it was at one time on the gold standard and it was taken off. The only thing the dollar had before was that it now was backed by oil, and that's now gone. So the US dollar at that point will have absolutely no value. Next, Congress will try to implement some type of pricing control. They'll immediately pass through some sort of bill which will do everything in its power to keep pricing low. This will cover everything from groceries, goods, services, utilities. But at that point, the damage will already be done. Here's where their problem begins. Within a few weeks, about 70% of the population of the U.S. will find themselves unemployed. With the dollar now worthless, people won't be going anywhere or doing anything to spend any money, A, because they won't have it, and B, the value of the dollar is done. And this is where the real problem begins. With a large section of the population now unemployed, crime will start. Crime on a scale that no one has ever seen. With people now desperate to do whatever it takes to put food on the table, to take care of themselves and their families. Lawlessness will be found in every corner of the country. Law enforcement and even the National Guard will only have a minimal impact due to the millions and millions of people that will be taken to the streets. Now comes the plan that you knew about all along, but the plan that you can't stop. This is when the government introduces the CBDC, the central bank digital currency. Everyone is going to be told they're going to have money digitally deposited into their account, which will be available immediately. And the state the nation will be in at that point, everyone will be glad to accept the new currency. You see, the plan isn't to fight you. The plan isn't to try to take you over. The plan is to make you desperate and then offer a solution that you'll gladly accept. And in order to do this, they just need to control your money. But the first step is to take your money away. And the way to do that is to make the dollar worthless. Once the new central bank digital currency is accepted, all of the new programs and systems that have been put in place will now be used. Surveillance, censorship, monitoring, everything that's needed to keep the entire population in line. As I stated before, this isn't going to be something you can fight. They control the monetary system. They control the money. And making the dollar worthless is how they pull the rug out from under you.
Boom. I mean, it was on point, you know. And as the scriptures say, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And that's exactly what all of this is leading up to, man. You know, crashing the dollar in order to make everybody, you know, destitute, so that they can bring in the solution. You know, and as he said, the crime's going to go through the roof. There's a 2 Ezra 6:22. And suddenly shall the sown places, right? The society as a whole is pretty much still together, right? The sown places shall appear, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. So, you know, all together, and unsown is chaos. And he said 70%, you know, I don't know the exact number, but I know a major part of the population, more than half, you know, won't be able to make any money, won't be able to make ends meet, because the money won't mean anything. Whatever they had in their bank accounts is worthless. People still got to eat. People still got to pay their bills. People still have, you know, habits or whatnot. So the crime will go through the roof, you know, and then you still have massive amounts of police quitting in droves, you know, emergency workers overwhelmed, you know, all types of chaos is going to be out in the streets. That's why it says, let me get this, hold on, before I get that. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. That's why it says here, Daniel 12:1, and at that time Jacob's trouble shall Michael stand up, the archangel, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book, man, the book of life, to be delivered, the elect, right? Because it's gonna be so bad that the Lord has to save us from this, man, you know. So let's get some examples of what's gonna be going on in that time. 2 Ezra 15:15. For the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So people, once these things happen, people are not going to care about what the governor, the mayor, or any of these politicians have to say about anything. They're not going to care about what the police are doing. They're going to go out there and they're going to get it to the best of their ability, and they're going to do whatever they can to get it. And man shall desire to enter into a city and shall not be able. So through all this, they're going to start setting up checkpoints. They're gonna declare martial law. They're gonna be able to pass all types of laws, tyrannical laws, because of the way the people are gonna be in an uproar, man, and the crime rates going through the roof. It says 2 Ezra 15:18. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods, right? Take all their stuff. Why? Because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation, man. So all of these things are coming, man. Jacob's trouble, terrible times are on the horizon, and it's all, what I had it, all leading up to, because the one thing he didn't mention was the MO to the TV, man, because they're gonna get rid of the dollar and introduce this CBDC backed system with people, in the new currency. In order to get be a part of it, you're gonna have to take that rice device, man, that implantable. This is Revelation 13:16. This is what John the Revelator seen on the Isle of Patmos, man, in a vision. And he causeth all, Revelation 13:16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save except he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom, let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666, man. So this is exactly why they're doing these things, because Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi have put it, on their these devil spirit to do so, man, right? Because the prophecies must be fulfilled, and that's why, the scriptures read, Proverbs 22:3, a prudent man foreseeth the evil, right? This is why it's important to be circumspect, to watch as well as pray, as the scriptures say. It says a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. How do you hide yourself? In this truth, right? Under the shadow of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, right? The names of the Lord are a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and are safe, as the scriptures say. But the simple pass on, right? How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity, right? 2/3 of our people, 2/3 of Israel, will perish and be punished on this side, man, because they refuse to come back onto their power while the evil days come not, right? And let's get an example of that real quick, of the simpletons that are out there. So this is from this channel of the brother Kratazar, from the elder from Vegas, GMS Vegas sit downs. I seen he was looking up in his this channel, Mad World, which is exactly what it is. It's absolutely crazy, man. Everybody done lost their minds, man. But it's the name of this video is "This Sums Up Spring Break." So while all this is happening, that we went over in this video, this is what's going on in spring break. So without further ado, here we go. See? So while all hell is about to break loose, that's what the majority of Israelites are out there doing, man, with their time. Not using this grace period to come back onto Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. They're too busy, doing folly, man. As the scriptures say, folly is set in great dignity, man. But like the scripture also says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. Right? It's gonna be, the Lord is coming as a thief in the night, man. So it's gonna come upon them suddenly. Why? Because they ain't paying attention, man. They're too busy doing folly, doing nonsense, worrying about spring break and all this BS, man. So, that's pretty much it. I kind of wanted to just highlight what, these devils are up to, what these other nations, are doing, showing that the U.S. is indeed falling. Babylon is falling very quickly, and it's a beautiful thing. But we are commanded to continue to watch as well as pray, because we are going to have to go through, this, tribulation. The Lord can't save us out of something if we don't go through something, man. So, and it's going to be a time such as never been. So it's absolutely imperative to come back onto your power, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, before the evil days come, man. So yeah, Lord's willing, this was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to thank Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi once again for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. And I want to give all honor, praises, and glory to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi Bahasham Rakakadash. I want to give double honor to the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, who taught me his truth. Salutations to you brothers and sisters that are out there listening and learning, fighting this good fight of faith. And salutations to my fellow brethren that are pushing this word in all truth and sincerity. To you all, I want to say shalom. I want to say DTA, Abba, Babal, and Kwam Yasharallah. Hey, shalom. To the next one.